Hey YouTube, my name is Ian. Welcome to Big Rock Media. So if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that my wife and I love to go camp in our travel trailer. You can kind of see it behind us here. I've got the blue Jeep and the Lance trailer. So we're out here in Borrego Springs, California for the long 3-day weekend. And what I wanted to do today was tell you guys 5 or 6 things that have proven essential to us in our travels. We've traveled all up and down the western United States. We've had 3 different travel trailers, 3 or 4 different trucks, and we've learned a lot from our mistakes, and we've kind of learned what essential gadgets are. You know, there's so many gadgets that you can get for RVs that it can be kind of overwhelming. So we're going to show you just the basic things that we think you should take in terms of additional gadgets that you can buy and things that make life easier. So I'll walk back to the rig and let's get started. So the first item I want to go over is really not something that I consider optional. It's something that's really a safety item and just something you really need to have most likely when you're towing your travel trailer. Now the setup that I'm running right now is a Lance 1685 trailer, and I've got a Jeep Gladiator JT. So, you know, it's a mid-sized truck. It's not the heaviest duty truck in the world. And so this item is even more important. And what we're going to talk about is what attaches right here, which is the weight distribution hitch. So you can see I take my hitch off when we're at camp, but this is the hitch itself here. And then here's my weight bars. I keep these in here just locked away out of sight, and also so I don't run into them with my shin when I'm in the campsite. So the reason that a weight distribution hitch is so essential for most people towing a travel trailer is that it brings the weight off of the back of your truck, the rear axle of your truck. It distributes the weight up to the front axle of the truck and also back to the axles on the travel trailer. This is a huge safety thing for your load distribution. It helps with handling. It restores the steering response of your truck or tow vehicle. It kind of helps a little bit, well, it helps a lot with the squat on the rear of your truck. So if you have a combination of truck and trailer that when you put your trailer on, the rear end of the truck squats way down, that's not a good thing. With a properly set up weight distribution hitch, you shouldn't have too much squat in the rear of your truck, and it'll restore some of that ride height back. It's the most important thing in my opinion. It also controls sway. Now some hitch setups have different ways of controlling sway than others. Mine uses the tension of these. This is a Equalizer E2 hitch, and I love this hitch. But there's all sorts of other brands and types you can get. But make sure that whatever you get has a sway control system in it. So the sway control is really, really important factor of the hitch because it prevents the trailer from, you know, swaying around behind you. Now also you need to have proper load distribution with your weight, and you need to not overload things. You need to have proper tire pressure, and if you want to go into all this, there's another video I have on what can you safely tow, and you should go watch that video. So number one, you need to understand if you need a weight distribution hitch or not, and most likely you do unless you're towing a very small lightweight trailer with a big heavy duty truck. And the second thing is understand how to use it and how it works. You need to have it set up properly, and we can do another video on that later. But these hitches have to be set up. They have to be, the brackets have adjustment, the hitch itself has an adjustment on the angle of the weight bars, and you really have to understand what you're doing to set it up. So read the manuals, watch videos, however you want to learn for yourself, but you really need to understand how that works. It's really essential to the safety of your towing experience, and it greatly improves your towing experience as well. Okay, the second thing that's really important is have some sort of brake controller. So in this Jeep, since it did not come with a brake controller from the factory, which is kind of a complaint that I have about it, but I went ahead and installed this Takancha Prodigy, I think it's called the P2. I've used this exact brake controller in the past and found it to be very, very good for the price. You adjust the brake controller here, and you've got boost settings, and then you've got a manual override here, which I really like having that at my fingertip. So the brake controller is essential. If you go towing your travel trailer without connecting your trailer brakes, you are putting your family at risk and everyone else on the road at risk. So know what a brake controller is, know how to use it, make sure it's hooked up properly. If you're lucky, your truck will have one, you know, from the factory. But make sure that you're getting that adjusted properly. A RV dealership can help you with this if you don't know how to do it on your own. but it's incredibly important that you know how to work that brake controller, know how to adjust it so your trailer brakes are working at their maximum efficiency, because the brakes from your truck, especially if you have a trailer that weighs as much as your truck or more than your truck, which is the case for many people, you really need to be able to safely stop it. So understand how that works and get that installed properly is a key safety feature. Okay, this next item is sitting right behind me in the shop, right here. These are called X-Chocks. What these do is, if you have a dual axle travel trailer, which is probably the majority of travel trailers, you put them between the two tires, and it comes with a little wrench, little ratcheting wrench, and you tighten it down. This does a couple things. One, it stabilizes the movement when you're walking around inside the trailer, which is really, really helpful. The other thing it does, it acts in a way as a wheel chock. So it prevents the trailer from moving, because the two tires are now locked together and the trailer really can't move back and forth. Now, they say not to use them in lieu of like regular, the blocks or the actual wheel chocks. So I guess legally you're supposed to use both, but I have found personally that these actually stop the movement better than wheel chocks. So go ahead and use both, I guess, but I find that these work extremely well. They work better than the wheel chocks, because the wheel chocks is hard to get them right under the tire just right, and if you have uneven ground, it can be affected by that. These, it doesn't care what you're parked on if you're using the X-Chocks. Now, I forget what they cost. They might be like $100 a set or something. They're not the cheapest things, but over the years, just the savings of the convenience factor and how well they work is going to well make up for that cost. So I highly recommend you use these things. I think I bought these 3 or 4 years ago, and before that I had just used the little yellow chocks that you get at Walmart, and this was like a game changer right here, having these things. Now obviously if you have a single axle trailer, you can't use them, so you're out of luck. If you have a triple axle, you can use them. You might just want to buy 2 sets of them in that case. Okay, so for this next item, I'm going to come around here back to my connections and show you something. Okay, so coming over here to my water hose, we're not going to talk about the hose itself, although obviously you have to have one, but instead we're going to talk about a couple things here at my water connection. So when we look at this water connection, you can see a couple things. The first thing I want to talk about is the splitter that I installed. So this is the connection coming off the hookup from the RV park. The first thing I do is I install the splitter. The reason for this is that if you need to access water for some reason, you need to fill bottles or whatever it might be, hook up another hose, you don't have to undo your connection to your RV in order to accomplish that. You can just, and this has, you can see here it's got valves on the back to turn on either one. The other thing I want to talk about in the shot is here. This is an adjustable water pressure regulator. So in the past I've used regular, just the cheap water pressure regulators. I'll put a photo here that you get like at Walmart, and those are okay, but the problem I found with those is that you can't adjust the pressure, and usually the pressure is a little bit too low. Especially when you're showering, you might notice that you just don't have enough water pressure. And so I really like the adjustable one, because there's a screw right here which allows me to go ahead and adjust that pressure. Now I have mine set up pretty high, like at around 50 psi. I find that works best for my trailer with the plumbing that I have and my shower head and things like that, but you can easily adjust this. So again, I got this on Amazon. I'm not affiliated with Amazon or any of the products because I don't do that on my channel. I don't really know what the brand is, but it doesn't really matter. There's a bunch of them. Just don't get the cheapest one. Get the one that has the oil fill and the pressure here. So that's a little bit better, and just kind of look at the quality and read some of the reviews. But there's a lot of them out there, but I highly recommend an adjustable water pressure gauge. Regulator, as opposed to one that's non-adjustable. So that's a huge thing on your water connection. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is a surge protector. It's very important that when you plug in your RV to shore power, that you're protecting against voltage spikes and brownouts and things like that, and just having a proper connection. So this is, I think, a Camco surge protector. It's one of the cheaper options. I probably should get a better one, but the important thing is that you have one to begin with. Because if you just plug this black plug here right into the power block of the RV park, you're exposing your trailer to potentially really dirty power, which can blow out your inverter and different appliances in your trailer. So highly recommend you get a surge protector. The way these work is you plug it in before you plug in your power lead. So you plug this into the power riser here. You flip on the the circuit breaker switch up here. It gives you certain lights, which tells you things are okay, and then you can go ahead and plug in the hookup to your coach. So don't go camping, RVing, whether you have a travel trailer or a motorhome. Don't go RVing without one of these. Okay, the next item on my list is an entry mat. So we've had this entry mat, you can see here, for quite a number of years. It's getting a little bit worse for wear. You can see some kind of, I don't know if it's mold or different spots on it, just dirty. This one needs to be broomed off. But anyway, the point is that if you're in a campground like this, where you've got this dirt surface here, or any sort of sandy surface, you're going to be tracking all that into your trailer. And it's really nice to have an entry area where you can have your shoes, you can take off your shoes, you can set up your chairs or your little grill or whatever other stuff you want to have outside that you don't want to get all dirty. And then you can take your shoes off, or at least dust off your shoes if you don't care about taking them off, before you go into your trailer and track all that dirt and sand inside your rig. So very, very nice thing to have. We use this every time we go out. Even if it's like a concrete area, we usually still put this out because it just allows you that clean space that you can broom off and just have stuff outside without getting all dirty. And it's just a nice thing to have. These are not that expensive. They fold up pretty small. This is a really big one. It's almost overkill. I think this one is like 13 feet by 9 feet or something like that. It's pretty big. This is only about half the size that it actually folds out to, and depending on how much room you have, you don't have to fold it out all the way. But I highly recommend picking one of these up before you go out in your motorhome or your travel trailer. Just keep things clean and keep things neat. Okay, the next item on the list is a cordless drill. Now, a cordless drill has a lot of purposes that you know about. But the reason that I really carry it, the primary reason, is to go ahead and put down my stabilizer jacks. Most travel trailers are going to have these jacks that you have to put down by hand. Now, if you get into fifth wheels, more expensive units, you're going to be having hydraulic lifts and automatic leveling systems. Well, that's great if you have that. But for most of us, we have to deal with these jacks every time we set up camp. The reason you put down your stabilizer jacks, or stab jacks as we call them, is it just prevents the rocking around of your trailer, and it just keeps things nice and secure. So we always put these down when we camp, unless we're just pulling in somewhere for like a quick overnight and we're not unhitching, then we might not put them down. So this is just a cheap drill that I bought, probably again on Amazon. It's not a good drill. It's not. I have a much better drill at home that I use for actual doing drilling and things like that. But this is a cheap one that I bought. I keep it in my storage box, try to remember to charge it every couple of months. And here's how this works. You buy a little attachment here with the socket. I think almost all the jacks have the same socket size. It's I don't know, this is just a Camco product. I have a spare one in the box here. But essentially what you do is you put this on, and it allows you, see how nice that is? Up and down. Instead of using the hand crank, which if you've used those, I'll show you here in a second, it's kind of a terrible thing to go through on all four sides. It gets old after a while. And now your jack is down. Let me show you the hand jack. So this is your alternative. Going here, hooking this up, cranking this. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is fun. Let's do this all day. I mean, yeah, it works in a backup situation. Sometimes I forget to charge my drill, or I used to actually leave it at home, which was stupid. So make sure this will come with your trailer when you buy it. Always keep it in your trailer as a backup, but definitely use the drill to save yourself a headache. Okay, next on my list, and I promise we're almost through. This kind of turned into a big list, but these are all things I think you really should think about buying. This backup camera right here. Now, I call it a backup camera, but the truth is it's just a camera that I have on all the time when I'm towing. So I have it hooked into the running lights of the trailer. So what I do is when I'm getting into my truck to go, or when I'm driving at all, I simply turn on my running lights in my truck. Some trucks already have them on, just depends how your settings are set up. And then it powers up this camera, and then I have a monitor in the truck, which I'll show you. Cameras are always getting better. They're getting cheaper. They're getting more high resolution. This one is a few years old. I put it on when we bought this Lance. You can probably get a better one now. This one I got on Amazon. I think the brand is called Uwei, Y-U-W-E-I. No affiliation. There's other brands you can get, and I don't care which one you buy. But this makes backing up into a site and also driving so much better. And let me show you why. Okay, so I brought you into the driver's seat of my tow vehicle, which right now is my Jeep Gladiator, to show you this. So the Gladiator cab is kind of small and the windshield's kind of small, so I kind of had to reorient things compared to the F-150. That's my factory navigation or Uconnect screen. This is my tablet for off-road navigation, and then this is my backup camera I have over here. I only put this monitor on when I'm actually going to be towing, otherwise it comes out of the vehicle. It plugs into the cigarette jack down here, which is really simple. But I love when I'm driving, and I'll put photo or video of it here, I just love to be able to see behind the trailer as I'm driving down the road. Also, if you're using a mid-sized truck or a smaller SUV and you're towing a standard width 8-foot wide trailer, the trailer's wider than your vehicle. You can see in the mirrors that, you know, it kind of sticks out. You can't really see what's going on behind you. So driving down the road, I love being able to see behind the trailer, traffic coming up, or what's going on behind me, or if I can make a lane change safely. Huge safety advantage. Also, when you're backing into a campsite, so nice to have that. You can see behind you, you can get perfectly backed into your space, and it prevents divorce with your wife. All right, well, that's all I could think of for this video. I sincerely hope it was useful to show you these gadgets that we've found genuinely useful. You know, we pack really light on our trips. I don't carry a single thing that I don't use because I don't believe in the extra weight and the extra junk sitting around. So we only pack the essentials, and these are some of the things that we found to be essential. So I didn't cover everything. It's not an exhaustive list. There's tons of other YouTube videos, my channel and other channels that are great too on RVing and camping, that you can find all sorts of other items. But anyway, hope this video is not too long. I hope you found it useful. If it was, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe for more content, not only on camping and RVing, but also overlanding. And we're gonna have a lot of content coming on the Gladiator behind me because I just bought it a couple weeks ago for the channel. So anyway, hope this was useful. Again, happy camping, be safe out there on the road, and we'll see you on the next video.